Hey y'all, it's Magnolia Money, and this is my All States predictions list, good for all draws for all states for the entire day of the 24th of June. And this is for your Cash 3, Pick 3, and Daily 3 games. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Check out my other content. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Now, I'll usually do the usual spiel here where I talk about mirrors. I always say use the mirror system as needed based upon your state's hot and cold digits. I also state that you need to watch these as a box any style recommendation because each state varies in the order in which they drop. I've had some people ask me questions about that. So I want to go ahead and do just a little bit of an explanation in this video, which I typically don't do. All right, when we talk about box or any, the reason why I say that is because I'm going to use this as an example. 043. One state may come in and play it just as it is, 043. But you may have another state throughout the day, whether it's morning or night, they may drop 340. And another state may come in and play it as either another morning or a night draw, and they may play it as 403. So it could be 304, 403, 034. Any order could come out. That's why I always recommend them as an any style play, because each state varies in that order in which they drop them. You always need to go with your gut or whatever other system you're using to pull straights and use that technique. Now, when we discuss mirrors, I say use the mirrors as needed based upon your state's hot and cold digits. All right, typically speaking, when you're looking at mirrors, a mirror number is where you add 5 to a number to get the mirror or reflective number. A reflective number is indicating that that number can look at itself or play as itself. It mirrors itself. So for instance, we're going to take a look at this. 0 plus 5 is 5. So in other words, if you're looking for whatever number can be a 0 is going to be a 5, is just by adding 5 to it. So in other words, 0 and 5 could play as each other. Now when you're looking at this list here, if you see the number like 101 and you know that 0 and 5 can play as each other, then you should instantly know that that could be 151 or 101. It gives you the option to see how many different forms that number can be played as. And if you base that off your state's hot and cold digits, you may be due for a 5. You may not be due for a 0. Or you may be vice versa. You may be due for a 0 but not a 5. So you only play that based upon your state's hot and cold numbers. Hot numbers are numbers that are currently playing repetitively, swapping back and forth, back and forth. You can check that to determine the list to help narrow it down as well. Now we're going to take a look at this. 2 plus 5 is 7. All right, so in other words, a 2 could be played as a 7 and a 7 as a 2. Right here. Looking at this, it could be 817, or if you mirror that 7, it could be 812. That's another example. A lot of times a state will drop something like, say for instance, your number came out as 238 yesterday. They may decide to come back and keep that 2, but instead of keeping it as a 2, they may mirror it and bring it back as a 7 and bring it back as 817. That's just an example. All right, now looking at this, you may be thinking, okay, well, what happens if you add 5 to it and there's 2 digits? Which one do I use? No problem. 6 plus 5 is 11. You only keep what's on the right-hand side. Therefore, 6 and 1 play as each other. Right here, you have 8 plus 5. That's 13. All you do is keep the digit that's on the right-hand side, and this is just an understand rule inside of the lottery system that you always keep whatever's on the right-hand side when dealing with numbers that contain double digits. So you can do this right here. See that you have a 3. So in other words, 3 and 8 can play as each other. So this here could also be played as 317 or 817. This could be played as 801, 301. All right, those are just a couple examples of how you can mirror a number. Typically, you'll mirror one digit at a time until you can go through the entire list and figure out which one you like the most, which one plays best for your state. Now, keep in mind, there are 1,000 possibilities inside of Cash 3. All right, this list will typically narrow you down to less than 250 or 200 to 250 if you use all maximum possibilities of mirror forms. But like I stated before, if certain digits aren't due for your state or it's not time for one of them to mirror over, then you don't even have to use it. It narrows your list down even further. And as far as triples go, I would be on the watch for 1s and 6s as well as their false triples, and I'd also be watching for 7s and 2s. All right, that's it. Later, y'all.